Hello everybody and welcome to the race notebook from the championship deciding 2024 Las Vegas Grand Prix here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let me tell you the scene. It's 12 minutes past 1 in the morning. It's freezing cold. It's the middle of the night, and we are celebrating lots of things, really. We're celebrating Max Verstappen being a 4-time world champion. We're celebrating, well, Mercedes is celebrating finishing 1-2 in the race, and we're just sort of combing the paddock, really, for what's going on. That's what's going on. So they're all in the Red Bull. I was going to call it a motorhome. It's an office, really, because they're all still doing the debrief, because even when you win a championship, and even when you've got stuff to celebrate, you've got to do a debrief, while the rest of us are really sort of understanding the day and getting an idea about the measure of the champion that Max is. There was emotion today, sure there was. There was reflection. There was healing, I think, going on. You think back to Bahrain when the team was tearing itself apart, and of course there was going to be healing. There would have to be healing. There was a release of emotion. There was Terry Crews. Wasn't Terry Crews great on the podium outside the Bellagio, talking about a Max dynasty? And this is a Max dynasty. Do you know what? He's right. Oh, Terry's right. It is a Max dynasty. We're 4 in. It could be another one next year as well. But as a person, Max said, as a person, I had to be calm. And I think that is something that will come out in the next few days, is how amongst all of the, whether it's chaos, whether you call it chaos or not, but the power struggle in the team early on, after Bahrain, Max was the grown-up in the room sometimes, wasn't he? He had to remain calm. And what will also come out, and what Giampiero Lambiase, Max's engineer, alluded to, or didn't allude to, just came out and said it straight, was the amount of work that Max did in the factory when things weren't going very well. And let's not forget, Max didn't have the fastest car for about 3/4 of the season. All right, early on, in Bahrain and Japan, and early on in China when they were all finishing 1-2 for fun, it seemed, in the Red Bull RB20. After that, he did not have the fastest car for pretty much 3/4 of the season. Last win, of course, was Spain before the masterclass of Brazil, and then for large parts of that, the McLaren was the fastest car. Then for bits of it, the Ferrari was the fastest car. For bits of it, the Mercedes was the fastest car. You could argue the Mercedes is now the fastest car, what with having finished 1-2 and all that. But Max didn't panic. He was calm. He went back to the factory. He worked very hard with GP and his and all of his engineers, and he sorted it out. So it was hard won, wasn't it, this championship? It was hard won from that point of view. And what else? I mean, it was masterful. And I like the way that he said, when Max said to just now, Max said to the McLaren boss, Zach Brown, this is what happens when I don't have the fastest car. I can still beat you. So that was all good stuff. So I might as well tell you what happened as you're looking at the world champion T-shirt and all of that. And that M4X, that was an easy one, wasn't it? That was when they're thinking about what to do with the 4th World Championship, it was M4X was a straightforward one to do, and the little bit on the back where it says the years, of course, 2021, 2022, 2023, and now 2024, and who would bet on it being 5 in 2025, but we will see. No one's actually, the only person who's done 5 in a row, of course, is Michael Schumacher, so we will see if Max can repeat that next year. But as for the race today, oh, by the way, they've also got capes. Who's got a cape? No one's got a cape going on around here. I wonder if any of the Dutchies have got the capes. There are some Max Supermax capes going around, so if you do see them, then they might become collectors items for later on in the year. Anyway, so Max Verstappen was 5th today, but ahead of Lando Norris, and that's all he needed to do. Sergio Perez was 10th, and I wonder whether, if you're Red Bull Racing, if you're that man, Christian Horner or Helmut Marko or whoever, once the celebration has died down, then you might start to think about what do we do about the problem that is Sergio Perez and the pace that isn't there, both in qualifying and the race, and what that means for the Constructors' Championship. Because there will be a reckoning, won't there, when all the numbers are totted up and they either win or don't win the Constructors' Championship, and everybody in the factory doesn't win doesn't get their bonus. There will be a totting up and a reckoning as to what they do with Sergio Perez. But that's not a matter for today. He finished 10th today. Max Verstappen finished 5th. And Max moved up through the first stops, rejoined 9 seconds behind George Russell, pitted again on lap 28, had the Ferraris, he was behind, had the Ferraris fighting, and then they went past, was covering Lando Norris and came home P5, 26 seconds ahead of Lando Norris, and that sums it up, doesn't it? Sergio Perez was a hard tyre starter. We're quite slow on the straight, said Checo. And that's the problem with Checo, isn't it? They have to figure out together to try and get him further up, because it's not something that Checo's going to be able to do by himself. They need to work with him to understand what's going on. Lewis is just passing me, and so is Carlos Sainz. Spin round. JD, they are, I don't know whether they're going to stop and congratulate anyone from Red Bull. No, they're not. I think they've already done that clearly by this time. But yeah, it was Checo was a hard tyre starter. We're quite slow on the straight. The hard tyres went off and he pitted on lap 17, got Alonso but couldn't get Yuki Tsunoda. So 0.3 of a second, that was the margin between Sergio Perez and Yuki Tsunoda. So that tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it, about the challenge that's ahead for Sergio Perez when he gets beaten by Yuki Tsunoda in an RB. And then that's not, to say that it was an equal fight. Obviously, Yuki started further up the grid than Checo. That's what happens when qualifying doesn't go your way. Shall we go anything else on Red Bull? No, I mean, apart from to say congratulations to them, and they absolutely deserve it. What will happen with the constructors, we will see. McLaren are, oh, there you are, JD. I was looking, did you see me looking all the way for you? Well, yeah, we'll see what happens with the constructors. There is the race winner. Should we do them next? George Russell, and it's all right. You party away, everybody.
Sorry, we're like shouting.
I like your stop bag. That's excellent.
Oh, to be fair, that's hers, but I don't take credit for it.
Yes, that's all right. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying hello, but I like the jackets. Are these for? Oh, you've got a Supermax. You got a Supermax T-shirt.
T-shirt celebrating. Hello, how are you, mate?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, good, really good. The mood in the camp is obviously unbelievable. He got it done.
With 2 races to go.
I know.
And it's 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you gonna be partying tonight? Or?
Well, I might do. I've got a flight at 9 a.m.
Oh, where you going? Where you going to?
Where am I going to?
Yeah.
London, a small conurbation in the southeast of England.
we fly back to London tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Except for her, she's going to Qatar, aren't you? Got a job there.
Yeah, I'm going to Qatar.
Sorry?
I'm going to Qatar.
Okay.
Not actually for F1 though, but the next race obviously in Qatar.
You know, I work for a company called Sky.
Yes.
I'm having somebody in my ear telling me
She does what you do.
that you're Olivia.
Yes, I am.
We haven't met despite working for the same company. Anyway, nice to meet you.
But it is lovely to meet you too.
Are you going to be down Osterley next?
Yeah, I am going to be down. When am I next down at Osterley? If I'm down there, I'll let you know. Might see you there.
Okay, cool. All right.
Lovely to meet you.
All right, Olivia, Jeremy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know them. It's Olivia and Jeremy. Anyway, all right, thank you very much. Have I embarrassed you? No, okay, all right, good. Welcome to the Notebook, guys. Right, let's do Mercedes. Come on. Have you still got George? Yeah, you still got eyes on George. So yeah, Lewis Hamilton second, George Russell first. As I say, 3rd win on the road for George Russell, but 2nd win that has been not the one that's been taken away from them, obviously, by being disqualified from Brazil. So 3rd win on the road for George, but 2nd win actually. So with 2 wins for Lewis and 2 wins for George, that makes it 4 wins. But still, Mercedes just 4th in the Constructors' Championship. But a good start for George Russell, held the lead and fended off Charles Leclerc on lap 5, and that was really the crucial moment of the race for George Russell. Russell. That meant A, that he obviously kept the lead, and B, that Leclerc cooked his tyres and would not be a challenge for George Russell or pretty much anyone else in the race for the rest of the afternoon. So that was the crucial moment, and from then he just coasted home, really. Lewis Hamilton pitted twice. Well, they both pitted twice. Lewis had to remove, or rather the mechanics had to remove some debris in the front brake duct. Was very quick after that. Passed Max Verstappen to P2. It was extremely quick, Lewis Hamilton. Russell pitted again on lap 33. Lewis hunted George as George managed his tyre, but George was effectively told you might want to pick up the pace at this point, but didn't. Well, no, he did. Well, he didn't have to, because Lewis grained up his front right tyre and dropped off, and that was it. The challenge was over, but make no mistake about it, Lewis was hunting down George and wanted to steal the win off his teammate, but as I say, he cooked his front tyre and didn't manage to do it. So we go on to the next race, and we'll see where Mercedes are going to the end of the season. This is the thing that's going to be fascinating, isn't it? Where is everybody going into next year? Are they going to be in a position to win and everything? Hello, George. Well done today. And they're going to be, challenging. But where? But how? But in what order? And it's going to be Red Bull, it's going to be Mercedes, it's going to be Ferrari, and it's going to be McLaren into next season. But as I say, in what order? Now, is there some kind of reckoning and post-mortem going on at Ferrari? Because this is quite sort of cryptic. Charles Leclerc saying that why he felt badly treated, disrespected, whatever word you want to say, and I'm sure you'll hear the radio messages coming out online in the middle of the week. But when you hear what Charles Leclerc was saying after the race, you've got to ask the questions. I did ask Fred Vasseur what was all that about. He didn't really answer, but it's not that he feels that he should have been eased back past Carlos Sainz, but it's more that he feels that he wasn't treated particularly well in some way. I don't really understand why. Anyway, what it was that it was Leclerc fourth and Sainz third, and the point is, oh, there's the cape. There you go, you got the cape. Well done, well spotted, JD. The point was that Sainz didn't get a penalty for crossing the line on the way into the pit lane, because I don't know whether the new race director, Rui Marquez, who this is his first race, didn't know that rule. I'm sure he does. But Vasseur explained it as this, that he treated it as a track limits infraction, not contravening any rule or any race director's note. Okay, fine. Well, so that means that, I guess, that's all right then. And Carlos Sainz will say, thank you very much. It means that he was on the podium and not Charles Leclerc. Superb start from Leclerc, up from P4 to P2. Challenged George Russell, as I say, for the lead, but didn't manage to stay there because he cooked his tyres. It was then Sainz dropped down to third, closed up on Russell. Great race, but as I say, cooked the tyres, dropped back. Sainz eased past and contradicted. Sainz later wanted to contradict the Ferrari strategy. Was going to come in, but they weren't ready for him, so he said stay out, which is good, because Esteban Ocon got the wrong end of that particular issue for Alpine, which I'll tell you about in a bit. Yeah, Leclerc ran P2. Sainz, wake up, guys, come on. But Leclerc very annoyed at the end. But hey, they have closed the gap on McLaren in the constructors, and it's now 24 points with 2 races to go. So nervous times, but it could have been a lot worse for McLaren. 24 points. I think they'll take that going into the last couple of races in the Middle East, because that's not as bad as it could have been. Let's have a look at McLaren, then we'll take a break, because Lando Norris 6th place and fastest lap today, and Oscar Piastri 7th. Pants, I think, is the word. That's not my word. I'm not being rude. I'm quoting Lando Norris, who called it a pants race today. Look, this circuit is one of the worst for McLaren's car. They also had to go from what the optimum rear wing was to a really low downforce one, as everybody kind of went lower and lower and lower and skinnier and skinnier and skinnier on the rear wings. They realized, McLaren, they just had to go with everybody. It was kind of a standoff with everyone. Whereas they all had to go lower on the rear wings. It went even further away from McLaren in terms of their ultimate ability to actually produce or field a quick racing car, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And that means they were only 6th and 7th. And they might be 1st and 2nd when we get to Qatar next week, such as this weird world of Formula One, when a circuit that really suits their car. But we will see. It wasn't great today. Lando lost too much time behind Gasly early on, damaged his tyres, pitted on lap 10 with Charles Leclerc. Oscar Piastri got a pretty harsh 5-second penalty for seemingly not being in the position that they wanted him to be in the pit box. Zach Brown called it harsh, and I think everybody else who observed it would agree with him. But there was he pitted on lap 11, did Oscar. Lando Norris toiled behind Lewis Hamilton and Oscar behind Yuki. Lando pitted for the fastest lap at the end and got it. Oscar finished 7 seconds behind, and Lando was able to use some extreme diff settings not to grain his second set of tyres, where Oscar struggled a bit. So Lando on the championship saying that we were never really... What was his quote? I wrote it down here. We weren't ready to fight in the Drivers' Championship. So McLaren weren't really ready. Lando wasn't really ready. But as I say, it bodes well for next year, because the big question is, will he be ready, old Lando Norris, next year to fight for the championship with the experience he's had this year? Well, something to think about. But I will end part one with a tribute, if I can, to a man who was a fan of McLaren and a fan of Formula One and loved his F1 and the feeling was mutual. And that was Trevor Sorbie, the hairdresser. I don't know if you know this, and we did a feature with him when I worked for The Other Side back about 20 years ago now. But Trevor Sorbie was a massive F1 fan. He used to roast a leg of lamb, watch the Grand Prix, and then have a nap on his sofa. At least that's what he told us in the feature we did with him. And he passed away last week, a week and a half ago, from cancer. And the other thing Trevor Sorbie did, which was amazing, true measure of the man, is that he started a charity or worked to establish a charity called My New Hair, where he would make hair pieces for women who were cancer sufferers and lost their hair. Just wanted to say our condolences and our best wishes to Trevor's family and friends, because he passed away last week. A great friend of McLaren, friend of Formula One as well, no longer with us. The great hairdresser and stylist Trevor Sorbie, and business owner, of course. You can go to Trevor Sorbie, of course, salons all over the UK. Right, with our best wishes, Trevor Sorbie's family and friends, we'll say we'll take a break and more Notebook in a bit. Hiya, welcome to Late Night Notebook, I'm calling it that, given that we're in the early hours of the morning here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we are digesting the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Plenty of other teams to talk about, and about 7 minutes to do it. So let's crack on, shall we, with a story of no radio for Lance Stroll. And if we have his helmet over here, I don't know whether the transmission didn't work or anything like that. I'm sure the helmet was fine, but Lance didn't have radio for the whole of the race, and that was a bit of a problem when you consider that he started down the grid and needed to get back. No radio, I was just saying, for Lance, yes. But Fernando Alonso was 11th, Lance Stroll 15th, and so they had to communicate with Lance the old way with the pit board to tell him when to come in and change various buttons that they needed him to change. So well done, Lance, for dealing with that. Fernando went for early gains with a soft tyre start. Worked nicely, actually. Was up to P14, P13, then pitted onto the hard and did 2 stops after that, so 3 in total. Lance pitted on lap 10 with a bit of a slow stop. Fernando pitted again, as I say, with a 2 stop. Fernando ran P10, held off Sergio Perez until lap 45 and finished 6 seconds off a point, did Fernando. So bad luck, Aston. It almost worked, but for 6 seconds. But well done, as I say, for Lance finishing P15 and with no radio in his car. Alpine, now we have some explanations here, and that is that Gasly was a DNF with some cylinders going away. Here is Alex Albon keeping his chin up. You're going to hear the phrase keeping his chin up from now until, where are we going next?
Qatar, I think.
You're going to finish the race in Qatar.
Will you be there too?
Will I be there? Yes, I'm even going to be wearing this chestnut copper-coloured jacket.
You're going to be sweating like crazy. If you're going to be wearing that in Qatar, you're going to be dehydrated.
Do we know how hot it is there? Is it going to be like last year?
I don't know. I'm not much of a weather guy. That's it. Bye-bye.
Not much of a weather guy, Alex Albon. Have we got a graphic saying not much of a weather guy? You will finish the Qatar Grand Prix, my son. Still hasn't seen the checkered flag since Azerbaijan. And I know, I'll get onto it in a minute. Right, well, actually, I'll get onto it now. Alex Albon was a DNF. Franco Colapinto, 14th. Another frustrating race for Alex Albon. Ran as high as 9th, but told to back off as the power unit overheated, possibly because of some debris in the radiators, and then was told to retire the car. So, as I say, still no finish for Azerbaijan, but has to keep his chin up because if he doesn't, then no one else is going to for him. So you can see his sense of humour is still intact. Franco Colapinto, incredible rebuild by the mechanics at Williams. Well done to them because it was a real mess after qualifying, of course, with the crash. Ran okay, pitted on lap 17 and again around lap 33. Brought the car home, P14. What a relief for him. Right, the story with Alpine is that Gasly was a DNF because some cylinders started to go off and then the engine pretty much blew. Ocon, it was a miscommunication between, here is Franco Colapinto. Franco, you're right. It was a miscommunication between the pits and on the engineers and the mechanics. So when Ocon came into the garage, the mechanics hadn't been told and weren't out in the pit. So that's why Ocon was like, "Well, I'm coming down here, and where are my pit crew?" Bit odd. So he went through, wasted 11 seconds of race time, and then had to come by and pit again when the pit crew were told that Esteban Ocon is coming in. So that really explains that. He finished 17th and had to pit for soft tyres at the end on lap 46 because his hard tyres were gone. So and a new set of softs were the only tyres that he had left. So yeah, a very disappointing race, and they have lost 6th in the Constructors' Championship, have Alpine. Haas have nicked it back on them with a great job from Nico Hülkenberg today for them. Right, RB, well done Yuki Tsunoda, because that's 2 points scored with a hard-earned 9th place. Not so much for Liam Lawson's 16th. They pitted around about with everybody else, more or less they did. And here is Paul Ripke. Good work with the what's next stuff, Paul. Yeah, excellent stuff. Valtteri Bottas, mate, of course. Yuki ran really well, P7 ahead of Oscar Piastri. Liam not happy with the car at any point really today. Yuki pitted again on lap 30. Liam hit Esteban Ocon but escaped a penalty for it, but Ocon said, "I've been hit by somebody," and it turned out to be Liam Lawson. The tyres were gone. He pitted again on lap 39, and yeah, Hülkenberg eventually stole 8th place off Yuki Tsunoda. So it's now 50 points. Haas are back into 5th with 50 points. Alpine have 49 and RB have 46. So even though RB and Haas scored points today and Alpine didn't, RB stay 3rd of those three in that constructors battle. Let's do Sauber, just to the left of you here, JD. Valtteri Bottas 18th, Zhou Guanyu 13th. Valtteri Bottas was a hard tyre starter. Zhou ran P6 through the stops, but came in again of course for his pit stops. Stopped again on lap 35. Valtteri Bottas stopped again on lap 36 and trailed home last. But Zhou Guanyu deserves a pat on the back because it was the best weekend really for him for absolutely ages, and came in 13th place while Valtteri just there trailed home in 18th. Haas, and I was just saying, Valtteri, I said yesterday, I love the charity donations for these, for the charity.
It is supporting families that has been affected by a sudden job loss.
It's perfect.
And actually it's only available for 20 more hours.
Okay, from where?
You can check the link on my X or from my Instagram.
Okay,
20
excellent.
hours, that's it.
But they're not sold out yet. I want to get one.
We are taking pre-orders, and then we know how many people want it, and then we ship them.
Pre-orders, everybody. That's how they work. I always wondered.
People in
Good. Okay,
in need.
let's do that. Everybody do that because I love it. It's a great cause and everything, and it's beautiful. And we will see you soon. Sorry about being last today.
Thank you, that's fine.
It's okay. I know it's fine because nothing worse can happen than this season.
What's next?
Exactly.
Bye-bye.
Exactly. Bye-bye. Right. Why did I say that? I said that because even though it sounded a really, really awful thing to say, because I knew he'd take it in the this is an awful car in the spirit it was meant. Right, that's Sauber. Kevin Magnussen 12th, Nico Hülkenberg 8th. Great drive from Nico Hülkenberg. Bad start from Kevin Magnussen, down 3 places to P15. Hülkenberg pitted on lap 15 and again on Magnussen, and again on lap 33. Magnussen stopped around. One stopped and finished 6/10 behind Fernando Alonso. Haas are back into 6th in the constructors, so well done to them. As I said, they're 50, Alpine are 49, and RB be our 46. Right, that is it. The Qatar Grand Prix from Losail Circuit in Doha is next on the 29th, 30th of November and the 1st of December. That's next week. And we will say goodbye, Las Vegas. Thanks again for a terrific weekend. And we will say congratulations to Red Bull Racing and to Max Verstappen joining the ranks of the greats and being if he's not already a great, being a 4-time world champion. Max, Super Max. We'll see you in Qatar in a week's time. Bye-bye.